There we go. And we are live. Good morning, crypto warriors, and welcome back to the Gym in the Crypto episode. Goodness gracious, 1056. Today is Monday, January 23rd, 2023, and I'm King, here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday at 10-ish.
Hey, hey, hey. What's up, 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 Big
There we go. Welcome back to the show. And of course, first things first, let's go ahead and take a quick look at these prices on the day, see what happened over the weekend. Know a lot of people are calling a dead cat bounce eventually. But right now we have still been pumping. Bitcoin is at $22,700, up 1.41%. Ethereum is at $1,612. I said up, down 1.41% for Bitcoin, down 1.96% for Ethereum. BNB is at $303, down 1%. XRP is actually at 41 cents, up 2.37%. And at number 10, we have Solana at $24, down 4.9%. Trending tokens are Bitcoin, Singularity Net, and Taboo token. Never heard of that one. And the recently added ones are VetMe, Meme, Tau, and Arb Inu, whatever those are. So those are our new and trending tokens right now. And of course, the prices. And quickly want to give some shout outs to everyone. I see the chat is already starting to get lit really quick. So welcome back to the show, everyone. Hope you had a great weekend. More of the same news, slow news week right now. As we said, a lot of regulations are happening right now. We're about to see that today as well. But top story of the day, more or less just covering this ongoing saga, of course. SBF, FTX is still in the news. It looks like he is set to forfeit about $700 million worth of assets if found guilty of fraud. That's actually just like a drop in the bucket in comparison to the amount of money that's owed or has been defrauded. But it looks like SBF, while most of his assets have been seized, federal prosecutor Damian Williams outlined that the government is also looking to take control of 3 of his affiliate Binance accounts. Those 3 accounts are, of course, we've already mentioned that Robinhood, which is about 55,273,469 Robinhood shares, was worth about $525.5 million. Remember, the government was trying to seize that. So far, they have not. $94.5 million is being held at Silvergate Bank, and $49.9 million is being held at Farmington State Bank, with the last $20.7 million is at ED&F Man Capital Markets. And again, this is what I want to point out, which is the ludicrousy of the FTXs around the world and other companies. It's like you already had billions of dollars of assets under management. You were already making money. At any point before the last few months when this thing crashed, they could have stopped shop. They could have closed down shop and would have been winners. They would have been successful. Everyone would have been in profit. Everything would have been good. But no, billions of dollars weren't enough. They needed trillions, right? And this is where you make your mistake. I mean, literally looking at the assets this guy has left, he has $525.5 million in Robinhood shares. What are you? And really quick, people, 2 things. First of all, what are you still doing? Like flipping you're great. You're in good shape. You have $500 million in one company's shares, yet you're still active in the market. And then second thing is, to me, this is why I thought it was like janky as hell. It reads just like Terra Luna. Duquan took the capital you all spent on Terra Luna and he bought Bitcoin, something you could have done yourself. To me, that was a scale. SBF and the folks over at FTX took the money you gave to FTX and the FTT token, and they went to go buy a real stock in real estate with it. Like that, it in of itself shows you their project is trash. They didn't even use the money. That literally, we're looking at a $700 million that did not go into the FTX platform or FTT project. That money went, we see $500 million went to an entirely different project, Robinhood, with then about 200, a little less than 200 million being held in banks and stuff. So again, these people have the money, yet they're trying to flip and make even more money by doing derivatives on top of derivatives, and essentially what will be illegal stuff in the market. But just want to point that out. The guy, they're trying to get the $700 million from the fact that he still has $700 million that could possibly become liquid. Of course, a little bit less from those Robinhood shares, but the money at the bank is the money at the bank. The fact that he even still has this is saying a lot. But again, These are the geniuses in the market, the people who are already literally billionaires trying to flip it into trillions. And instead, all they have to do is just slow growth and they'll be fine. But no, they want the fast overnight success and windfalls, and this is what comes with it. It's kind of crazy to see. But yeah, SBF still has $700 million that we know about in the banks, and of course, Robinhood shares, and that doesn't even include the real estate that guy has as well. If you remember, his mom spent a lot of money on real estate, so a lot going on there. Really quick in the comments, what's going on? Dub, Prue, Kadeem K, Virgil L, Unico, Dead, and Dana. Hello, hello, hello. I am going to go ahead and assume something is wrong with the notifications today because there is literally, this is the fewest people we've had in the show in forever. So I'm assuming we didn't get the notification. I'm looking at my I got the notification. No, I did not get the notification. Okay. Yeah. So there is some issues going on. Notifications didn't go out today. All good. Hopefully people start to get it late. Not sure what's going on with YouTube. All right. What else is going on? U.S. home loan banks lent billions of dollars to crypto banks is being reported here. That is right. Boom. Signature Bank and Silvergate reportedly borrowed over $13 billion from the federal home loan system. And again, just based off the last story, Silvergate Bank still has a few million of SBS money. And of course, we've been proud, supporters of Silvergate and some of the things they've done. But after reading this story, oh my goodness, Silvergate might be in a little bit more trouble than what we thought. And in general, it's just looking bad. The United States Federal Home Loan Bank System, if you are like me, never heard of the FHLB, is lending billions of dollars to two of the largest cryptocurrency banks in the effort to mitigate the effects of a surge in withdrawals, according to a report from the Wall Street Journal on January 21st. The FHLB is a consortium of 11 regional banks across the United States that provide funds to other banks and lenders. Founded during the Great Depression to support the housing finance, the system has $1.1 trillion in assets and over 6,500 members. And again, the biggest thing about this story is the Federal Home Loan Bank System was created during the Great Depression to support housing finance, right? Housing finance. But it looks like as of recently, the entity reportedly lent nearly $10 billion to commercial bank Signature Bank in the last quarter of 2022. You can get one of the largest borrowing transactions by a bank in recent years. And then also it gave it to Silvergate Bank, which received $3.6 billion also in the last quarter of 2022. Of course, we know that Silvergate was going through a lot of stuff. So first and foremost, I have to say, I'm not sure how the FHLB is directed or organized in as far as, is this a government entity or is this another private entity when it comes to banks? Banks are private, but once again, they're using the United States Federal Home Loan Bank System. With that name, you remember we essentially made it illegal to rename yourself federal this or federal that because it confuses ordinary citizens into thinking you're a government entity when you're in reality a private entity. That's the issue with the Federal Reserve and all the banks under that. That has nothing to do with the United States government. The government works with them, but they are a private company. It is literally the same thing as having a private military, a PMC, a private military corporation, when the United States says, hey, give us some of your soldiers as mercenaries and we'll send them to the Middle East to fight for us. That's still a private organization. That's not the United States military going to go fight. That's a private organization fighting. This is the same thing. The Federal Reserve, private organization who does business with the United States government as far as all our money. So when I look at this banking home loan system, the United States Federal Home Loan Bank System, my first question is this an actual federal government ran system or is this a private system, which I think is a private system in order for them to give the money away like they did without having to ask. But even if it is a private system, just using the government name to trick people, if it was made for housing finance, why are they redirecting capital funds to the crypto market, to crypto companies, to crypto banks? Like, this is how all this stuff goes belly up. This is how when FTX goes down, you find out there's 50 other companies connected to it, and you're looking at $50 billion plus of damages and losses. Like, this is how it happens. They shouldn't be in the market. They shouldn't be interacting with each other. And as much as I love Silvergate, if they couldn't cover their bets, they should go out of business. It's not, well, maybe we'll get some money. We'll get $4 billion over here from the home loan market. No, because this is crazy, right? We're still using this Howey test, which we'll talk about in a bit. We're still using this 1942 or 1920 something Howey test to determine what's a security, right? We're going off of that. So why are we not going off of the FHLB, which was made during the Great Depression around the same time as the Howey test for housing finance? Why are they into the crypto market? Why are they helping banks? And again, you're looking at $10 billion going to Signature Bank, and then you're looking at $3.6 billion going to Silvergate Bank. This, again, is coming from the FHLB, which is supposed to be supporting banks and people in housing finance. But somehow or another, that money has now made it over to crypto. And again, the problem with this is the regulatory issues that come with it. And it looks like they have, the likes of Silvergate Bank accept this money. When they accept this money from these traditional banking houses that are used to doing traditional business, this one doing housing finance, once Silvergate banks accept that billions of dollars, they're now on the hook. The old guard, the regulatory way of doing, of issuing and enforcing instructions. So you can't just accept this $3.6 billion from this traditional bank and then say, well, we're in the crypto and we're doing this. No. Now you're about to play by the same rules as the people who gave you the money according to the United States government eyes. And I'm not totally against that, because they're going to be saying, no. This $10 billion came from the traditional market that is regulated this way, that way, or whatever. They gave it to you all, and now you're trying to give it to crypto companies that allow users that only have email addresses in order to do capital transactions. They do not want that. So that's the bigger picture here, and that's the problem with it. When we have the likes of Silvergate and some of these other crypto banks and crypto things in trouble, and they're needing help, and then they get that help from these traditional parties, this one being, again, the Federal Home Loan Bank System, you are now going to be tethered to traditional regulations, and you're going to invite regulators over here, and they're going to overreach and overstep, as they should, unfortunately. In the end, the retail users are going to be the one to pay for everything. In the very end, it's going to be the retail users, the mom and pop, that's going to say, now because that they borrowed this money from this bank or whatever, if you want to do a transaction through them, it's going to cost us more, because now they have to have a compliancy department. Now they have to have this department, that department, all because they accepted this money, which was supposedly being used for federal home loans in the United States. Again, this is crazy. I don't think this should have happened. What I love about Bitcoin and crypto is zeros and ones. Either you have it, if you don't have it. And if you don't have it, you're out of business. As simple as that. I love Silvergate, but they shouldn't have got saved either. So again, it's interesting I guess the light is now back on Silvergate, because knowing that they took this loan, it is like, well, are they in the clear yet? We know they owed a lot of people, or a lot of people were had accounts with them that went under, so they had to pay money back. People were reaching out to them, which is probably why they did this. But again, who knows the back end of the deal? $3.6 billion. What's the interest rate on that? When do they have to pay it back by? What are the details of that deal when it comes to the traditional sector? But I can tell you from a government point of view, no, if you accepted that money from that traditional bank, they're about to wrap you up. You're all the rules of federal housing and all that stuff has to go by. You better believe they're going to put that same regulation on Silvergate, and all they're going to be looking for is for Silvergate. Like, everything's going to be good for the most part up until Silvergate gets the one customer that's making the most noise. The new crypto company that's making a lot of noise. The day the government says, hey, we see they bank with you. We would like their banking records. We would like any information you have, the emails, blah, blah, blah. The moment the bank says, well, United States government, this is a private customer. They're a new business. We're doing great business with them. We can't give you this private information. The government's going to be like, well, you remember that $3.6 billion you took from the FHLB or whatever? Well, did you all guys know if you didn't fill out this one form here, technically you're a violation of code, whatever, because that money you took, some of that was supposed to be used for this, and you didn't fill out these forms to say you're going to actually use it for crypto instead of housing. And since you didn't fill out those forms, and it's been 3 years, now you're delinquent. Oh, they can make this go so deep. And literally they can essentially wrap them up into some other BS just to get them to give away that customer information for that new crypto company that's coming out and doing all this mad stuff with it. So again, this is why we talk about these stories and analyze the market from this point of view, because you hear it now, in 2 to 3 years, when Silvergate gets that, if they're still in business, they get that next big crypto company that we all love, and we're getting 30% back on staking and this, that, and the other, and it's a big secret and no one knows. The moment the government comes knocking at the door and it's like, that company specifically, we want them. We want all your information. Because of deals like this, Silvergate will give them up. And once they do, we're all going to be stuck holding the bag. Like, oh, wait, how did this company just go from like, it was up 200% and it just dipped like 80 to something, 90%? It's going to be like, oh, yeah, they're being investigated by the SEC overnight. Why? Because they weren't playing by whatever rules the SEC wanted, and all the SEC needed was a little gift from one of the banks to give some customer information up. And next thing you know, we got us a new extortion case. Don't believe me? We'll be talking about one here in a moment. Actually, let's swap right on over to it. As I said, after Martin Luther King Day is when somebody said this is the second show of the day, so maybe we had two. We'll see. So Zay did a show. My goodness, I'm over here reading his text message now. Hold on, folks. All right, all good. Second show of the day, two different point of views. All is good. SEC charges Mango Markets exploiter for allegedly stealing $116 million in crypto. That's right. The SEC has accused Abraham Eisenberg of manipulating the Mango Markets platform by manipulating the MNGO token, which the company allegedly sold as security. So two things. I really just wanted to point this story out. As I mentioned before, this is the government. This is what the government does at the Martin Luther King Day in the crypto market. They come to regulate. This is literally the third company now. We have Bits Lotto. We had whatever company we had Friday. I can't even think of it off the top of my head. I know there was another company they went after Friday, but now we have Mango Markets. But what they went after Mango Markets for was essentially market manipulation and fraud. But what I want to point out is something we've already talked about. Everyone in this market actually does it. Mango, the way that they got them is essentially they're saying they're security. So this is something I can see on the forefront for every crypto company out there. They're essentially going to say, well, if you're security, any type of manipulation, of course, is illegal. The whole thing with Roger Ver and Bcash getting listed on Coinbase, when they essentially manipulated that market, was that, hey, it's not illegal. This isn't a regulated market. We didn't do anything wrong. Well, now it looks like the government's going to say, fine, that might be true, but if we can prove that whatever you have is a security, then all that BS you're doing behind the scene actually is illegal, right? So and essentially the way they're doing this and the way they prove this is through wash trading, something that we've told you literally every platform is doing and has. Every exchange has been doing it, but Mango got caught doing it. And I can pretty much guarantee you all these other companies, even if they're not caught, when you hear them settling with the SEC and paying that fine, this is what it's actually for. They're not going to admit or deny any wrongdoing, but all they're talking about is wash trading. So this is essentially what happened. On January 20th, the SEC alleged that Abraham Eisenberg manipulated Mango Markets MGO governance token, allowing him to steal roughly $116 million worth of cryptocurrency from the platform. According to the complaint, Eisenberg allegedly executed a series of large MNGO purchases in order to artificially raise the price of the token relative to the USD coin, then drain the assets from Mango Markets. Eisenberg engaged in a manipulative and deceptive scheme to artificially inflate the price of the MNGO token, which was purchased and sold as a crypto asset security in order to borrow and then withdraw nearly all available assets from Mango Markets, which left the platform at a deficit when the security price returned to its pre-manipulation level. So essentially, this is what wash trading is. You buy up all the assets to make supply go down, demand goes high, the price goes up, you sell it, you make your money back, and then, of course, it dips even further lower, the price that it is. So they said, hey, this guy was wash trading, he manipulated markets, but the problem with all of this is that he did it with a security, right? They're saying this violates securities laws because that Mango is being considered a security. If you remember, they haven't really been saying what tokens are securities unless they feel like they get some money from you. I mean, to me, it's just basic extortion. They feel like they can get some money, they're going to scream security. If you don't got enough money to fight that case, which most companies don't, because you need to be on a list of XRP, which is like a multi-billion. I mean, put it like this. If you remember, the founder of Ripple, Garlinghouse, Brad, he was the 5th wealthiest person on the planet when Ripple hit his all-time high. The 5th wealthiest person on the planet. That's what type of capital you need to fight the SEC. I'm talking billions of dollars. So if you're one of these smaller projects and you only have 50 to 100, let's say you have 250 million or less, that is not enough to fight the SEC. And usually they're going to be settling. And these are the companies the SEC is going after. So nothing new to see here. It's funny. This person even put out a tweet of how their team makes millions in crypto risk-free. And again, technically what they're doing is not illegal in this market. However, if you're considered a security, then that does make it illegal in their market. So that's where they're trying to get people, is by making that project a security. And again, this is being based off a Howey test that determines securities from the year 1920 or 1940 or something like that. Black people weren't allowed to buy houses. That's all you need to know, okay? I don't think women could vote either. Like, a lot of stuff was going on during that time that was not good in the world, yet we're still using those metrics to weigh the new world that we're in today. Crazy. You got to love it, man. America. All right. That is America if I ever seen it. All right. Let's see. What else do we have going on today? I see some comments finally starting to come in. There we go. I wasn't sure they're moving. Let's see. Anthony said, bonus show. You did it on purpose for added value. Hilarious. Ray Mata says, getting tight in the crypto space. Seems to me everything's centralized, getting infiltrated, getting ready for CBDCs. All right. Last couple of quick stories. Craig's Wright blacklist resembles Bitcoin kill switch. Satoshi never Satoshi never followed through on. Craig Wright's back in the news. We actually need to have him on here. I spoke to his team before to have him on. But if you remember Craig Wright, story history here in crypto, says he's the real Satoshi Nakamoto, of course. Helped create Bitcoin Cash, Roger Ver and Jahan Wu. Later forked that to Bitcoin SV, his own project now. Well, now he's adding to Bitcoin SV a new application essentially that allows the blockchain to freeze and confiscate other users' coins. It looks like it's a software tool that's for recovering lost or stolen coins. That he himself said, hey, Satoshi Nakamoto suggested 13 years ago. Of course, you can see that here on the Bitcoin forum, August 7, 2010, 8:13 p.m. However, even though he suggested it, he literally just kind of made reference. You can see here. He said, here's an outline. It's just a rough outline of the kind of escrow transaction that's possible in software. He said that's possible. He didn't say he was doing it. He just said this is possible. This is not implemented, and I probably won't have time to implement it soon, but just to let you know it's possible. The basic escrow, the buyer commits a payment to escrow. The seller receives a transaction with the money in escrow, but he can't spend it until the buyer unlocks it. The buyer can release the payment at any time after that, which could be never, because again, the buyer could technically lock the funds in the escrow account for forever. This does not allow the buyer to take the money back, but it does give him the option to burn the money out of spite by never releasing it. The seller has the option to release the money back to the buyer. Now he goes more on to say, this doesn't guarantee the parties against loss. It takes the profit out of cheating. And he talks a little bit more about it, but this was more of theory. This was the outline. He didn't actually implement it. But again, Craig Wright actually implemented it into their blockchain. As this person tweeted here, feel free to read the whole manual. It's not long. The takeaway is, if you are in a trusted relationship with a miner, there is now tooling in BSV that will let you freeze and spend other people's coins. If you have BSV, there are people who can freeze and spend your coins. So really quick, this was the problem, and this is why it was this whole Bitcoin civil war that a lot of you missed. The civil war happened in 2016, early 2017. It was decided for the scaling debate, how Bitcoin would scale. But the people like Jahan Wu, Roger Ver, and Craig Wright, the people who were at the New York agreement meeting in the hotel, all the 50 different companies, the Coinbases of the world, the Vinnie Lingrams, it was a bunch of big companies. We have the list. But this is what these people wanted. This is what they still want. This is what the government wants. At the end of the day, Bitcoin is okay and is their friend as long as they can control the transactions. That is what it is about, having power over the blockchain, because everyone who is technically savvy understands that yes, the future is digital. We will be using a blockchain. It will be depends on which blockchain, but whoever has power over the blockchain, that is literally the same as being the president or the chairman of the Federal Reserve System. You're in charge of the printing of all money, right? Think about if you're in charge of the printing of all American dollars. That is what it looks like if you can control a blockchain, right? You have that power. So this is what people want. They've been wanting it. That's why Bitcoin Cash was invented. It was the whole scaling debate. No, they wanted to fork Bitcoin so they can control the blockchain, right? And then those three got to arguing, and they all were like, fine, I'm going to make 3 or 2 more new Bitcoins because I want even more control. And this is the end use of that control. This is what it looks like finally. This is what they wish they could have did to begin with. This is what it looks like. This is what he's been trying to do as much as everyone else too. Everyone's trying to create a CBDC. This is what they're trying to do. Every new project that says, hey, we all know Bitcoin's slow and it can't scale, right? Ha ha. No, we don't. They're saying that because they want their token and their project to be the main one so that they can control their blockchain. And just to let you know, the issue with that is a slippery slope we already have today. And that's being in control of the money. All you have to do is say, hey, we're sanctioning this country. We sanction this business. We sanction these people. They're not allowed to use our money. They're not allowed. You're not allowed to do business with them, or we all face penalties. Once we're all digital, it's going to be even easier to sanction people if we're using a private token or a CBDC, right? It's going to be super easy to say, not only are we cutting off their access to the blockchain like digitally, we just put an off switch, but now we can trace everyone else's digital transactions to see if you do any business with them. And we don't even have to have a human behind it to find you. We can code this into an algorithm just so the algo can identify which addresses do business with certain addresses and automatically restrict those accounts. So you yourself could essentially in the future donate to the wrong political party, and all of a sudden you can't buy groceries for your family that week because you donate to the wrong political party. It can happen just like that. So I'm not for this type of technology as far as allowing people to freeze or send back transactions unless it's actually for a company, like it's understood, right? Like it is the Ethernet, right? It is an internal token to be used on Facebook or something like that. But when it comes to the global currency, the Bitcoin of the day, I like it as it is. I don't like people being able to block or send transactions or to take back. Like that's too subjective. And that's how we got to where we're at right now, is from this subjectivity. All right, last but certainly not least, Stellar is in the news, and this is hilarious because this is kind of my point. If you remember, Stellar was already, as I mentioned, good business for them, stupid for the overall market. Stellar had a seat at the Senate committee hearing or whatever when they were asking Mark Zuckerberg about his Libra token and what a finsta was. Stellar was there waving the Stellar flag. And here we go again. Stellar is joining the CFTC Global Markets Advisory Committee as one of 4 crypto organizations. I wonder what they're going to try to get the advisory committee to do. Be more friendly to the overall market and every retail investor, or be more friendly to the big companies and the bigger platforms like Stellar, and to allow them to add barriers of entry so that there's less competition to Stellar. Like, this is so obvious. Why do they have like specific projects on government advisory committees? This is crazy to me. Like, it's one thing to say I used to be on Stellar, I used to work with these, but to actually be Stellar and to have the ability to walk into a government office and help shape law and legislation is ridiculous to me. It's crazy to me. This is a private company, private citizens, essentially. Stellar, and I love Stellar. Stellar's doing a good job, but that still doesn't negate the fact, like, fine, if you're going to let Stellar do it, let Avalanche do it. If you're going to let Avalanche do it, let Shiba do it. If you're going to let Shiba do it, let BitConnect do it. Because how do we decide who's a scam and who's not until it's too late? Like, let them all do it. Let FTX do it. Like, how is this possible? I don't know. But Stellar Chief Operating Officer Jason Chalipa, or whatever, I don't even know, nor do I care, said the foundation will bring the unique perspective of layer 1 to the committee and highlight stablecoin use cases. I mean, again, they're the newest member of the United States Commodity Futures Trading Commission, Global Markets Advisory Committee. Let's say SDF. Who is SDF? Stellar Development Foundation supports the Stellar blockchain, which is used for crypto fiat transfers, of course. Foundation will be represented on the committee by Chief Operating Officer Jason Chilipala. He wrote in the company blog that we hope to bring the unique perspective of Layer 1 protocols to the GMAC and, quote, as part of the committee, SDF will highlight the role of stablecoins in the digital asset markets and real-world use cases, including leveraging stablecoins in delivery of humanitarian aid. What I tell you, they always have to dress up all the bullshit and protecting and helping people. I mean, that is the sickest part about it all. They always have to dress it up as we're helping people. What do you mean? Like, come on. People, you want me to believe, and to be fair, I'm officially middle-aged myself, okay? To be fair. So this isn't an ageist thing, but it is. But you want me to believe a bunch of old, middle-aged professionals with families to support around the world are saying, hey, forget all that making money for ourselves and our families. We switched over to crypto so we can provide humanitarian aid for everybody. We're trying to join the CFTC advisory board to provide humanitarian aid for everyone. Like, come on, fucking stop me when it makes sense. Like, really, that's what we're doing? Oh, I wasn't robbing a bank. I was testing you guys' security practices, all right? I was making sure if I shot this gun, your security, his vest could take the bullet. I was making sure if I ran about here with all this money, that you all had a way to get it back and track me down. This is just me helping, all right? This is just me help. Like, get out of here. This is crazy. You literally have one of the main competitors on a a government advisory board saying we're here and we're doing it. They help the world. Like, all right, bro. All right, that's what we're doing. Again, this is Stellar. I don't blame Stellar. I'm actually a hand clap to Stellar because they have managed to get themselves inside of a Senate committee hearing now, as well as this Global Markets Advisory Committee. A couple of things as far as it goes on our end. I will say this is not going to be an indicator of price. They could do all this and just be left looking stupid, them and the CFTC, which is what I think will happen. We've already seen this with FTX because you remember these same people at CFTC, SEC. Remember, Sam Bankman-Fried was a genius in their eyes. So let's not act like just because they're a government organization, they know what the fuck they're talking about in this space. They don't. So this isn't like a buy signal for Stellar to say they're doing great and everything. However, it kind of is. It kind of shows that, hey, they'll at least be here in this market for the short term because they are making moves like this. Do these moves make any sense whatsoever? No. But they're making the move. They're in the same room with these people. Worst case scenario, they can get a senator or a congressperson to buy a bag and can pump the price in of itself. So as far as them still being alive and getting that slow growth, I think they still have it. I remember I used to essentially trade into Stellar whenever Ripple made a move. Like whenever XRP would go up or down or basically whatever, I'll usually wait about 16 hours, 12 to 16, 14 hours. And you would see Stellar make those same moves. So it used to be like almost an easy way to get an easy trade in. If you want a quick 3 to 5 to 7%, you just watch Ripple make like a crazy 12, 14% move. And then you wait a little bit and you jump into Stellar, and that you usually ride that out like it's 6 or 7% and just take it right back out. So that has worked for years, to be honest. Up until recently, the last couple of years, it had been working for years. So to me, this is all that would do is once XRP, which it looks like it will, once it beats this SEC lawsuit. Remember, I said, is it going to be worth the squeeze to go into XRP? No, but Stellar, yes. If you remember, some of the same developing team left XRP, went over to Stellar. I think just from a trading point of view, especially now that they're doing shit like this, where they're doing this global force for good, it looks like humanitarian missions with CFTC. When they're in that position and they are building that community, you better believe when something like the SEC releases its grips on XRP and they have their 30 to 40, 50% pump, I'm telling you, people, get ready to ride that Stellar train like literally that night. The next morning, Stellar is going to take a nice little coast with it, all right? Other than that, that is the show for today. Make sure you smash that like and share since it looks like we did too, I guess. We didn't realize that. And we will see you all tomorrow with some more crypto news as